My topic, it's about the contactless application. I pick up this topic primarily because it's like things are changing now, as we know. I have a quote in here that it's the new normal of technology. In the past, like considering the web versions that we do have, we're chasing from web 1.0, web 2.0, and now upcoming, and then who knows when will it be, is the web 3.0, and we'll see the differences in between them. So this is me trying to appreciate what's in web 3.0, but hopefully this is not limited to just that, when you try to digest whatever information that I'll be sharing. So just a brief introduction. I'm working as a tech lead in Phoenix DX. Been here in a significant time. Been using OutSystems significantly as well. Exposed with Microsoft technology, JavaScript stack in there. So kind of immersed with the full stack development. And fortunately enough, got handed with an MVP status last year. And so we'll start with what really is contactless technology. So in here, this is like limited to what's available on in application with the application. When I say like application, it's more likely to say the mobile, the web, and it could also be a kiosk type of application. Um, but back then, if you think about contactless, based on the research that I've made, it's like it started 1980s. If you remember those like contactless washers where you put your hands and it automatically put some wash in there, and then kind of just get out and then clean your hands. So that's like the history of it. But as we get down and we get close to this stage, you may have seen the different transition of it from a simple hand washer. You get to include now some intelligence, more than just how it is like a binary kind of tools. So with technology nowadays, you get to interact with artificial intelligence, and artificial intelligence have increased from needing the time for you to train some data. If you remember, like maybe 5 or 10 years ago, you have to think about how you will be able to gather some data, and that will be used as a prediction model for the AI mechanism. Nowadays, if you just go over the internet, you'll see lots of libraries available specific to the cognitive services that you'll be needing. Just speaking about AWS recognition, there's that Azure cognitive services, and a lot more. Not just cloud services, even libraries is out there. So these are just the primary contactless technologies that I think would be applicable most of the time. But more than that, it's just keep on growing. Like, imagine how now ML could be used, machine learning could be used on use cases such as driving a car. If you have seen that video from Tesla where it could recognize object in trillions of computations per second. So think about hardware as well that increases from the time all this contactless technology was created. Um, so not too much to dig in each and every contactless item in here. Let's just um, make the scenario more closer to where we are at this stage. This is just a survey that was made last year that contactless technology demand increased. So with the travel specifically, 8 out of 10 folks would prefer using contactless technology rather than touching the screen or scanning their passport. So just on the airport alone, um, especially those who have access to the hardware that AI mechanism could support. They're now transitioning to a contactless, and and it's just one of the things that would change. I think as we move more to Web 3.0, um, where AI is really highlighted from from the usage of the application, not just those things like metaverse, but more than that. When we think about Web 3.0, it's really making use of the resources within the computing mechanism. So with this drive, I would just like to cascade the passion in creating application that relates to contactless. May it be using those five cognitive services that I mentioned, not services, but those cognitive items that I mentioned, and also thinking about use cases that you can apply in your project. So um, it's about like when you travel. If you would think about that thing where you go and do your survey, it's typically you would touch the monitor, but now there are companies looking into offering through hand gesture. They'll be able to detect if you are happy or not with their services. So it's totally an alternative to complete daily tasks. Don't get me wrong, the usual buttons, mouse will still be there, but it's an alternative way and giving an option to the user not to make use of it. Because like what accessibility is all about, you want your application to be broad, not just covering a specific user, a specific race. Um, it needs to have that capability. And so where you're probably thinking like, why am I talking about OutSystems and this is about AI and stuff? Um, I think OutSystems perfectly fit as an orchestrator of all of this component, given the speed that OutSystems offer. It if I may think about it, it acts like a neural network where if you have an input from the business, so that's like a diagram that I'm showing here. If you have an input for the business, you get like an output to respond into. So similar to how AI works, it's requiring some inputs, and in the middle of it, there's like different sets of connection that it needs to decide on, and at some point it will merge all those data and give you an output that you can make use to whatever application you have. So, and the fact that OutSystems is speeding up the release cycle. So if you're building like a mobile application, consider consider as well like it's one application, mobile and desktop. So that's kind of giving you a leverage that you're making use of this new technology, contactless technology, and at the same time you're releasing that in such speed where you get so much feedback, so much data from the user that you could use to improve whatever AI mechanism you do have. Um, and that's that. So getting more to the lower level of this AI, as mentioned, there are lots of AI libraries already available on the internet. Some of the popular ones like TensorFlow, Google Media Pipe, and and tons, especially if you have gone from a Python programming. It's a lot of patterns that you could leverage from there. So on this presentation, what I'll be sharing to you guys is like an integration with air drawing, that is using the framework of MediaPipe, and my use case would be signing in a contract using a camera. So I might turn off my camera to transition later to the application. And by just doing some hand gesture, I'll be able to navigate through that application and commit the transaction. On the other side, the hand track would just like to say that there's that forge component. If you are interested with this mechanism, it's encapsulating like different hand gesture by default, and you'll be able to react to those events. It's all in client side, so nothing is getting disturbed with privacy. So you're okay with using them. I'm not seeing the chat window, but if there's any question, just feel free to interrupt me. So now that I think it's time for some demo, let me stop talking in there and just turn off my camera. It might be slow because I'm kind of sharing and having AI mechanism at the same time. But right here, I'm just accepting the terms and condition. So I'm using my high five kind of hand gesture, and I'll be signing the contract using index finger. And I could erase any problem in there by using my to index. And lastly, I'll commit the transaction. So I'll use the OK sign to commit the transaction. And there you go. That's the end of this demonstration. Hope you got something in there. Thank you very much, guys.